Everybody say, as a child of God, no praise God, I just say God. Even before I pray, see your body, see us together. When the enemy came like a flood, everybody say, as a child of God, no praise God, I just say God. Look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, give me space. Are you ready to go to the next level? Yes, make sure you are doing like this. Make sure you are taking steps. Are you ready? Look at your neighbor, eyeball to eyeball. Eyeball to eyeball. Oh, your man, that's it.
All right. Welcome back. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to come here and spend some, 30 minutes or so to do some catch up because we're in the middle of the holiday, so we can't do long live streams. But I have a few minutes to burn this morning, and I decided to come here and say Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Asheisha Modo, those of you that understand Yoruba, you know what I said. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. Let me just make sure that all is well on the sound department here. All right. Yep. So, Merry Christmas to you from the My Empire Pro family, from my family, from the Prestige family. All right, I can see there that my sound is not where it needs to be. Let me just make sure. All right. Merry Christmas. All right, good. Let's add a little bit of music to it. So this is very impromptu. I just wanted to jump on and, do a little catch up on this story that's been going on. Shout out to everybody that's here brand new for the first time because of the Emeka story. But yeah, there's some new stuff that came out this morning. Skyline, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you. All right. So do me a favor, as you're coming in, hit that like button as always. Of course, share, subscribe. Today is Christmas. It's very early morning here. It's 8:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time. So I expect that you're spending time with your family as well. But let's do some quick catch up on what's going on with regards to the story. All right, I'm gonna cover a couple of things. I'm just gonna share my screen. How's that? All right, I'll share my screen and see what's trending on Twitter. It's still trending. Emeka is still trending on Twitter. And anytime a relationship issue like this is trending like this, we have to kind of like address it, okay? Because people are being influenced one shape, form, or the other. And we have to make sure that we're getting to everybody as much as we can, right? Skyline say almost 10 p.m. in China, I bet. This is almost 10 p.m. the end of the day on Christmas or before Christmas? Which one is it? All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm on Twitter, okay? I'm on Twitter, and this Vanguard newspaper posted this video of Daddy Freeze. I'm going to play
Impossible. We're going to have to deal with whatever each of them is bringing to the table. I almost believed her because she sounded like the gentle one. Oh, they used to do this to me. 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 Remember, I'm also coming from a divorce place. My ex wrote it inside court document that I used to bring my friends to come and sleep with her in the house. Any day she does not agree, I go poporam with blue. Is inside court papers. So when a divorce case is going on, there is nothing each of the parties will not say to look good. And let me tell you, if you see my ex, you see me wait stubborn. You know, say I stubborn, nobody will know if you follow fight. I always look like the bad person. Because she will come and she will be gentle like this. You will tend to believe her. That's remembering.
All right, so everything he just said, I'm going to play 1 minute at a time, about 6 minutes, and address it, right? Everything he just said, he's correct, right? He's correct. And as you know, I always tell you guys here that you're right.
Well, you're right.
Okay, you're right. But that's not relevant. That's not really relevant to what's going on. Okay, now except one little element of what he said. People will lie. Okay, they will do all, when they are caught up in that feelings, when they end up in divorce court. It's not a fair game. Don't be like, manage your expectations around that. All right, all gloves will go off. Everybody's looking to hurt each other. No, you don't have to wait till the divorce. Even a small argument, people hit below the belt. You know this, right? They say things they don't mean, but they kind of mean, but they really mean to hurt you, right? Because hurt people hurt people. So what do we do with that information, right? We don't say, what we do with that information is not to pick one side. That's not what we do with that. What you do with that information is do everything in your power so you don't end up in that space. So even if you already end up in that space before you're a divorcee like that, freeze, make sure you don't end up in that space again, because you already know that this is not a matter of one gender is worse than the other. It's a matter of when you end up in that space, all bets are off. People are going to get vicious. No, stop asking for fairness. It's unrealistic expectations. Stop asking for people to play fair, to not manipulate their kids against each other. That's precisely what they are going to do. No one is encouraging you. I'm telling you what it's going to happen. The only thing you do with that information is make sure you don't end up in that situation. You don't pick sides, because as part of the reality of what he just said, we don't know who is telling the truth. Right? Let's continue.
In that, now he make me say, oh,
Hey, Stainless.
because the way she was going, I was believing it initially. I'm like, oh wow, Emeka did this, Emeka did this, Emeka did this.
You know why I was believing it? Let me finish this. I'll tell you why I was believing it. Let me finish this 1 minute
But
segment.
then I remembered my own situation. Somebody said it's a big pressure says, so what's your point? Like you are daft. What's my point? You cannot pick the point. Alori eti gbale. Odosori won gan bi kan ibile. Please, I mean, I'm not in a good mood. Don't cross me today. You will collect big pressures. What's precious about you? Osori kabiti. Be akuti eshu oni big precious. But Olori la no be big precious. Not cross me. I don't want everybody down.
All right. So you know why he was believing her? Because he was forcing himself to believe her. He was trying, let me play fair. It's always a losing battle. Playing fair does not work. Let me play fair and try to be objective and listen to both sides. This is what happened. When you're coming from your own place of trauma, when you're coming from your own place of bias, let's not call it trauma, since I'm not a mental health professional, right? Let's call it bias. When you're coming from your own place of bias, sometimes you push yourself like, let me try to not come off as I'm siding the side that might obviously seem like the side I should side. Let me try and see if I can pick the other side. Baba, that's the problem. Why do you feel the urge to pick a side? Why must you pick a side before you can learn one or two things from this? Well, you're not alone. Everybody else kind of do the same thing. We can see it in some of these comments. But that's why everybody else, they tend to end up in terrible relationships, even if it's not divorce. They can't figure it out because they must pick sides. They don't know how to actively listen to the other side, the person that's in an argument or disagreement with them. Let me see where this person is coming from. It's difficult. It's easier said than done. But it's an additional level of skills that you can have. And that's how you run the world. That's how you lead a world of people, right? It's because you know how to talk in your own feelings short term, because you're trying to get to the bottom of issues. That's the only reason why he felt the need. Like, I was believing her. Why do you need to believe her? I don't need to believe her before I could see holes. Sorry about that. Right? I don't need to believe her to see holes in AK story. No, I don't need that. It's not necessary. Most people need to pick a side. They need to believe one side. Why? Because we've all, last, everybody go chop breakfast. So everybody's looking at things from that lens of it must be one side or the other. Merry Christmas, D-Love. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Skypaw says, Daddy Freeze have a lot of double standards. Yeah. Daddy Freeze will now understand what's going on. It's going to take him a minute. I see that he's been trying, but it's going to take him a minute. It's very difficult to do. To look at this kind of story and not feel the need to take a side. I must believe one side by force. Still I say, remember this woman has been keeping quiet and she has more to lose than the man. I don't think the kids are being manipulated. The boy needs his father now. I think the kids will be manipulated as a default. I don't think people are intentionally manipulating the kids. I think the part where we miss it, we think is intentions. The kids, once they have to be on one side, once the home is broken apart, the kids will be manipulated. They will be influenced, right? Another word you can use in this context. They'll be influenced because there's only one side of the narrative that's weighing much more heavily on them. And at best, the end result of that long term is they will be confused. This is why we tell people don't randomly, willy-nilly encourage broken homes, directly or indirectly. The only time that should be a solution is if the abuse is entered. Then nothing good's going to come out of that anyway, right? But even at that, there are ways to manage that situation where two people have to go their separate ways and still have to manage co-parenting in a way that the kids can say, hey, mommy loves you. Daddy loves you. No, your daddy loves you to death. Wherever, our relationship didn't work out, but your daddy loves you. Is it easy? No, it's easier said than done. That's why it is very rewarding. That's why it's highly rewarding if you can figure it out. Again, another position where you don't have to pick a side. You find yourself like, wow, my kids are involved. I want to make sure that they have a healthy relationship with their father, with their mother. But when people are caught up in their feelings, they can't think that straight. When there's a broken home and it's me against you, as opposed to us against the world, the kids will be manipulated. It's a default. It's the reality. Right? Let me play another 1 minute from Daddy Freeze here.
Today, not cross me. Wait till I go tell you, not go like yourself. If you cannot figure it out, just zone out. Ask somebody to explain it to you. Ask somebody to explain what I'm saying to you.
If you don't get it, forget about it.
Let me tell you, he stole my children, she stole my children, is what happens inside divorce.
That's
anybody will hold children first, now you go first carry children.
That's it.
Now so divorce, they be asked any divorce. If a divorce lawyer who can divorce themselves from their emotion, listen to both sides of the story, they will know it is normal divorce case. He beat me, waiting woman, they always talk, say man do. Woman go talk, say man beat him. Man go talk, say woman ashawo. Now normal thing where they happen, there's nothing I heard that's different. Now so divorce they be.
What he's saying is that when you end up in a broken home, it's a 99.999% chance. Now, I'm just making up numbers, but it's almost impossible that there won't be some kind of at least somebody that will accuse the other person of manipulation, even if it doesn't exist. It's almost impossible. So stop expecting that you're not going to feel some type of way, or the other person won't feel some type of way. The only thing you can do is what Stainless just said. Okay, let's see Femi Fela's son. I don't know who that is. Fela's son, who I think also is a difficult partner, but he has been able to manage the relationship between his ex-wife and son, at least in the public space, right? At least. And that's really all that's required, because once you can manage the public space rhetorics and narrative, things are a little bit easier to manage at the private level, right? Nobody's life is perfect, but if you can remove the public thing, right, things are a lot more easier to manage, right? Remember, he left the kids in Abuja alone in a flat without money. Why didn't he take them back to Germany before their mother found them again? And people not listening to people are just listening with their only side of their brain that works. Unfortunately, that's what people do. That's why I'm addressing this calmly, just to address some of the points and say, no, you're wrong. Yes, you're right. Because if I use my same emotions to address everyone right now, it could just be another bass boost, right? And we don't learn anything from that. Really, we don't. We don't. The reality is that Emeka Ike failed at keeping his home together. Okay? No, he did not graduate from keeping his home together. He failed. That's the first step to creating a better future. You acknowledge that you failed. Right? And if you can't do that, it gets worse. And then you will have an ex-wife and a son to blame for it. Because everybody go para if the head cannot figure it out. That's normal thing. Now, that if he said that's normal thing, divorce people are not fair, I agree. But it's normal thing that everybody else go para if the head cannot figure it out. Right? It takes the grace of God for everybody else to try to figure it out. Especially if it's like right there, generations are right there.
You see, I've been through a divorce before. And I'm also with someone who has been through a divorce before. I sabi shout, or if I vex, I dey shout. But I no sabi beat. It does not mean I've never struck before. But I always strike on response. I'll give you a story. There's a time my ex came home at 11 o'clock. Married woman entering the house at 11 or 11:30 or something ridiculous. Now one of her friends bring her come house. And I don't meet that her friend ex-husband. The friend ex-husband.
All right. Before I get into that, Daddy Freeze is a fellow content creator, a veteran, a radio veteran. I respect his platform, okay? There's a couple of things that's possibly happening. I think about 2 times I've tried to join his show. I would like to have the conversation with him, but it's either it's not letting me up or something is wrong between our accounts and it can't let me up. I don't know what is going on. It doesn't matter to me. I have a platform. Okay, I just want to drop that out there really quickly for those who be like, why don't you just have the conversation with him? I'm just letting you know, okay? If you have struck before as a response, you sabi beat. Gentlemen, listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully, gentlemen. This is how you get in trouble. He sabi beat. He knows sabi beat means he's not capable of beating the person. And then he said, it's not like I have not struck before, but it's always a response. If you have stricken a person before or beaten a person as a response, you are capable of beating a person. Can we get that in our brains? Ladies and gentlemen, that's applicable to you too, ladies.
Sorry.
All right. Your reactions are actions. All actions are reactions. You're responsible for your reactions. Is it fair? I'm not discussing if it's fair or not. I'm not. I think in love and war, all is fair. How's that? Does that work? I think in love and war, all is fair. I don't think he meant to give us an excuse. It is an excuse. It's a terrible excuse. Ignorance is not an excuse. Okay? If you can strike another person as a form of response, you sabi beat. You sabi end up in the, you can end up, right? You can end up in the, what do you call it? You can end up in this space of the internet and media being dragged as a woman beater. In fact, you will, even if it's response. Gentlemen, are you listening to me? There will be more than enough people that will try to take sides and say, oh yeah, after all, it is fair. You know that guy that came out on Daddy Free's platform who said the woman beat first? This is the real life. This is not the court of law now. This is real life. Baba, if that's how you think, who beat first, you collect.
Sorry.
Your reactions are your responsibility. If you think it's fair, you're right. But I think it's irrelevant to life.
You're right.
Sorry about that. A call came in. All right. Hope you guys can still hear me. Let me make sure. Yeah. These are the things you might not hear in the social media streets in other places, because everybody's actively trying to believe one side or the other. But this is the game. Yeah. So let's say you can decide to review what he says. He's a celebrity. Yeah, of course. It's just that I'm that connected to him and we could have decided to do, but no. I'm not about to be figuring that out. I don't have time for that. But you're right. Absolutely. Henrietta Briggs says, slapping is slapping, be it given first or in retaliation. Absolutely. Daddy Freeze need anger management therapy. Yeah. You know, again, 80% truth, 20% poison. Somebody, an impressionable young 43-year-old man, because there are many of them out there. I know they're not young, they're old as shit, full of 40s. They would take that as, I knew I was right, Baba. I never say you were not right too.
You're right.
But you will end up in jail if you keep up that mindset. Okay? You will end up in jail if you keep up that mindset. Not to. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you and the bros. Listen to Daddy Freeze. I listen to Daddy Freeze a lot to know he's a difficult person and might not be in a good position to advise on relationship. Also, I do hype Emeka Ike works out something with his family. I do too. I hope he works it out because it's never too late, you know. But these are the advices that will get him trouble because they will keep inciting him that he's right, and that's not relevant to what needs to be done. Let's continue. Let me play another 1 minute.
Husband, tell me, say, in the check bag one day, he see Juju with his name written on him. Definitely help me. I will tell you from my own experience.
Wait. So he's talking about his ex, and he's talking about some lady came to drop her off one day, and the husband of that lady said he caught her, the wife, the friend, with Juju Jazz, with his name written on it and stuff like that. I'm not sure what that means in real life, okay? Because people have your name written on holy water bottles. I'm not sure if you will fight this much on it, but I'm not sure what that means exactly, especially if it's a second-hand story. Let's continue.
You see in Juju where they write in name on top. Like imagine say your name na Big Precious. You can't see Big Precious. Juju say the thing they smell. They inside her bag. So me and the ex don't meet. So I come ask my own ex, say, come, why are you hanging out with this woman? This woman that I thought was married. One day with a dance, I just see and they dance, they kiss another guy. That guy, now fun. I don't go just make I just know enter the story because nothing concern me. I just they try give you, I just they try lead you up so you can understand the situation. Now so I go meet my ex-friend, say, please, this woman is a married woman. Don't bring her to the house at 11:30 again.
All right, so that's a wrong move, always. Okay, now the majority of us who don't know any better, earlier on, we don't know any better. We think we can. That's controlling behavior. All right, controlling behavior doesn't mean you don't have good intentions. I tell you all the time, your good intentions will end up in the poto poto. Right? If your wife is coming home late and she doesn't want to be answerable to you, Baba, she doesn't respect you. She doesn't have any, she lost respect for you. You're not going to solve that problem walking up to her friend and checking that person. In fact, you are making it worse because you're now embarrassing her. Not just her, you're embarrassing yourself. Not just that, you lack self-respect. Because whatever is happening in that household, right, your self-respect is being tampered with. Women mimic the level of self-respect you have for yourself. So it's like no wonder now. You lack self-respect. You demonstrated that you lack self-respect. The more she's disrespectful to you, the more you show lack of respect for yourself. It just gets worse. I promise it gets worse from there. Now, but again, granted, not everybody knows this from the get-go because we can't see that far, right? You need a certain level of long-sightedness. You need to be able to, you need to see foresight or just have had some experience to know that this never works, right? If your woman is coming home late at night because she's lost respect for you, there's a different way to earn your respect back. I just gave you the answer. You have to earn the respect back. You're not going to force it with traditional man's rhetoric. It will work against you. The respect. The respect will get worse. Let's see the end of the story. He's telling the story now, like, you know, he's saying it in a different context just to see what happens. But somebody is taking this as advice, and it will work against you.
Now, so I enter house. First thing with my children were there. They will deny it because they are with they've been with their mother all their life, so their mama don't wind them well. As I enter inside house, confrontation start. How dare you go and talk to my friend? Tell your friend, say, make sure not carry you. You are a married woman. What are you doing out of the house by 11:30? Argument start. She slapped me, can't tear my clothes.
Wait, you mean it got worse? A woman who's already lost respect for you, it got worse. Oh, I'm not surprised. The rest of the world is surprised. Obìnrin Burugo.
All this, you see, if you've ever been through a divorce before, or you've ever seen divorce.
Ola, why are you blaming the victim? He was the one who got slapped. You see, you're still trying to play fairness. There's no fairness in this game. In love and war, all is already fair.
Before, you will
goes.
understand that nobody is 100% right and nobody is 100% wrong.
Correct. True.
I was listening.
You see what I'm saying? It gets worse. It doesn't have to get that bad, but it depends on your particular stories and your situation, obviously. But it gets worse. If your woman lost respect for you, you have to earn the respect back. It's a lie. You will deceive yourself. It will get worse. Okay? The gra, you know, you won't last. You won't be able to do 2 terms. Remember Donald Trump? It won't last because you're trying to force respect. in the era as we're moving forward, you have to gravitate away. It's never really worked, but more so, the nature of human beings continue to show. You have to earn respect. You have to earn submission. You have to earn trust. You cannot force them by preaching. By be like, I will punish you, I will whip you. You cannot do it even with your kids. Could it work? Because they have options. And it shouldn't work. There are better, more sustainable options. It's better when you use influence. Still, it says Emeka should take full financial and emotional responsibility to the extent he can for his children and apologize to his wife. No, it's not apology that's needed. Apology without change behavior is useless. And if he apologizes right now, it might be too premature. He needs to do the work on himself. He needs to take some time off. There's no need for premature apologies. All right? Especially, he's not going to mean it, so it's not going to work. He will just resent himself eventually. Once he's processed everything that's going on and he deems it fit, yes. Apologies for the most part, I will talk about that another day. They actually destroy more than they build because it makes people resent themselves if they're doing it prematurely. But Allah Kidola, my guy, says link. Well, Merry Christmas to you, sir. Merry Christmas, Nani. Merry Christmas, everyone. Because it's Christmas morning, my family is actually getting prepared. We're about to go do exchange gifts and stuff like that in church. So we won't be able to do a link. I will round this up in about 10 minutes. Okay. But maybe, we might still, this topic is blowing out of my channel, so I have to keep covering it for as long as it takes. Merry Christmas to Brother Patrick. Merry Christmas to you all, But let me finish this. Let's see.
To the story, he married her at 18. He told her not to model again. Or long boy, if I marry 18-year-old, I don't go agree and model.
No, that's terrible. Let's continue.
Hello, 26 years now used for that industry. The industry is a bench fest. From my personal experience,
All right. So he said the industry is a bench fest, meaning they are doing all kind of holo show in that industry and all that kind of stuff. That's what he's talking about. It's a terrible way to talk in public. Okay, you can't blanket the whole industry. It's just wrong. I rarely say anything is wrong. It's wrong. It's just wrong. Even if you're right, you're wrong. The point is not being made. Okay, we know that in the I think what he's trying to say is that when there's fame and money and sex, PDD type of deal, there's all kind of bad behavior that goes on there. Well, yeah, that's to be expected, but I wouldn't be disrespectful to the industry like that. But I'll let me leave that alone. Let's say he's right on that, right? Right, but he said something. He said, "Hello, if I'm with 18, I no go let. That's the language that traditional, quote unquote, traditional people use. That's always wrong, because again, you're still stuck on this idea that you can control other human beings. No, you can't. It's not even me saying you should or you shouldn't, because you shouldn't is fantasy. You can't. You cannot control another human being. The best you're going to do is train them how to find a better way to do it and sneak around and do it until one day they will start defending themselves. At that time, it's already too late. They already lost respect for you. You have another choice. How about don't get with an 18-year-old who is trying to model? How about leave them alone? Let them model in their own world. How about don't try to bring them into your world and convert them? Now, granted, some ladies, especially if they look up to you, you heard my wife and I's story here yesterday, they look up to you, they don't want to disappoint you. Women will protect your feelings, but they're kind of like storing resentments over time, especially when it has to do with their career. That's going to happen. They're going to turn around and say you didn't allow them to do their career. They will do that. That's inevitable. But it's how you react to that matters. Remember, crises are inevitable. It's how you respond to this crisis that really makes the difference. Your wife, you might end up in a poto financially, and she was like, well, you should not let me do go my own different way. Gentlemen, life will happen. She might do that. But how do you respond to that? Do you have the skills to respond to that? Are you just going to turn around and jump on the internet and say, women are ingrates? If that's what you do, then you deserve everything that comes after that. Because again, the skills is beyond identify right and wrong. Your skills has to be bigger than common sense and right and wrong rhetoric. If you don't have the skills, you don't have the skills. Right? And it's okay, but you need to identify that you don't have the skills, because the way you see life is black and white. And then if that's how you see life, it will always fail. Henrietta, shout out to you, says, Merry Christmas to you, said, should an adult bring his dirty linen outside? It will only get dirtier. Exactly. That the fee should really go up. I hope so. I've seen some changes in the rhetoric, but again, these things are difficult. It's easier said than done, especially if you had some type of experience, right? That if it was hasty generalization here, he's telling a story. At least he's telling a story. Some people don't even tell story at all. They will just tell you this is the truth and that's it. Some people do that, you know. But let me play this auntie. I played this auntie yesterday. This auntie who is a gender warrior who tried to hide under wisdom. And of course, Tunde Ednot is hyping her too. Let me play this video for you. This auntie was the one that jumped out 2 days later who said Emeka was cancelled for no reason, but now she's coming out to come and double down, and I can still smell gender warrior. Auntie, you're a gender warrior.
Family with their back and forth going on online. Few pointers I picked from Emeka and his family with their back and forth going on online. Listen, one-sided voice note is enough to cancel you in Nigeria. Nobody waits for the full conversation. But I'll tell you what I observed there. That was a frustrated father who wanted his son to...
We will never get the full conversation. We don't wait for that. What we can see is what's happening in the public, and yes, there will be a court of public opinion. That's the reality. Not just in Nigeria, my lady. That's everywhere in the world.
Study a particular course or to go to uni. You know, African parents do this. We all come from a home where our parents wanted us to study one course or another without asking for our opinion. Till date, I'm on PhD level, but my mom still sees me that I've not gone to school just because I refuse to study law. To her, my talent is being wasted. So in Nigeria, once there's a one-sided voice note, people wouldn't want to know what...
This is going to be an 80% truth. It's going to be 20% poison. Pay attention.
Transpired that led to that voice note. They will cancel you before you even get an opportunity to explain yourself. Then secondly, you're a man in Nigeria. You don't have the truth. You can't tell your own side of the story. You're meant to hide abuse. You're meant to...
No, but you can live your truth. And you can be a king, even as a Nigerian man. Right? If you have to tell your truth, it's not working. You're doing shalaye, no evidence. You will shalaye tired. Ladies, please stop misleading men. They don't have the luxury of doing shalaye. They need to live their truth. Their realities must match if they have to say anything at all. If it doesn't match, you're right. The society will check them faster than they will check a woman. So they don't have that luxury, and you're indirectly inciting men to come and be talking anyhow in public. Could it work?
Hide any concern you have about your life. You're meant to hide it. And Emeka told his story.
It's not hiding it. It's called live your truth. Like actually show up. Like don't apologize if you don't mean it. Do the work first. It's not hiding. It's you have to do the work inside first. It's like you have to be pouring from a place. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't jump out into the internet street because your woman just showed you shiggy and drag your family. Directly or indirectly, you collect. And people like this auntie will incite you and make you feel like you're right. And just because you're right does not mean you will not collect. Being right is not a skill set. Everybody feels like they are right. In fact, this auntie right now feels like she's right and she's wrong.
He came on like people blamed him. Why is it coming now? Why is that one happening now? And the other one. The moment the wife spoke, especially in Nigeria, if you want to catch their emotion, talk with a calm voice. Nigerians will succumb to whatever you say. Whatever you say.
That's not true. What I've seen is 50-50. There are many Nigerians, either they're forcing themselves to believe the other side or they're believing the side their brain works on, and they lack critical thinking even when they have BSN in nursing and mental health. And I've seen a ton of them. That's what they're doing.
It's 100%.
And that's all I will say.
True. The other person becomes a criminal overnight. And that is what's happening to Emeka right now. Whatever he says.
No, Emeka opened a can of worms. Men don't have the luxury of opening a can of worms. They will have to do the work to bring them back inside and contain them again. And that's easier said than done. Especially when we have people encouraging them to speak their truth without taking care of the home front first. That's what's going on. That's what's happening to Emeka and happening to many Emeka out there right now.
Whether there's half truth or a single truth in what he said, nobody wants to believe anymore just because his wife spoke in a very calm tone. But I tell you this as a lady, when I want to catch people's emotions, when I want to catch people's attention, do you know how I speak? I talk calmly.
And we can still tell when you're talking calmly that you're a liar and you're fake. Not you, auntie. But when you're talking calmly and fake and all of that, we can still tell. Talk calmly. These nuts. We can tell. We're human beings. We have incredible radar for bullshit. We can smell it when you're lying. Okay? We can tell. What we're seeing is that everybody is split at 50-50. Some people are picking sides. Emeka is getting a lot of support, and I think it's bad for him. Auntie, stop the cap. I don't know what she's been listening.
Stop the cap.
Calmly gets every Nigerian more than when you're into basketball. When you're into basketball, nobody wants to listen to you. You're a liar. So once you talk calmly, you've won Nigerians. Thirdly, no matter what happens in my home, if you're a married person, whether adult children or young children, do not involve them in your brouhaha. Deal with it yourself. Fight your fight with your husband.
Unless if it's Emeka, right, auntie? Unless it's Emeka, because that's what he did. That's what he didn't do.
Because guess what? A father remains a father, a mother remains a mother. At some point, you people will meet each other at that crossroad. What happens then?
That's another false narrative. A father and a mother remains only a father and mother if they nurture and maintain the relationship. They can literally build a father-mother relationship with somebody that's not blood related. That's another reality that Nigerians don't realize yet. Just because you're biologically connected, that right of entitlement that we've had for so long is expiring fast. You can lose your children. You can ask Daddy Freeze now.
What transpires then? How do you resolve everything that has happened? Fourthly, the way the whole thing is going, there's Emeka's truth, there's the wife's truth, and there is the truth of the people who have surrounded them. And we're beginning to listen to them because I watched Daddy Freeze's life and I heard people talk.
No, that people that talk, they're capping. That young or old man, that dark-skinned PA, he did not know what the hell he was talking about. In fact, if you listen to the second part, 40 minutes into the conversation, he tried to bring Laide Bakare on to control the narrative. He worked against them. Laide Bakare switched on him. Go and watch it. Go and find the second part on YouTube. Because reality kicked in. People's feelings. People don't care about anything outside of their... They don't care about anything outside of their feelings. That's the reality for all of us across the board. In fact, me talking right now is a function of doing a lot of studies, but I'm still speaking from my feelings. This is how I feel. It's not the truth. It's not the truth. It might be some people's truth, this other people's truth, but like all of you, shout out to all 40 people watching me live, you're probably aligning with what I'm saying. But that's because you can relate. And you knew that you were not crazy before. And there's some people who say I'm lying, right? But I'm speaking from how I feel, and hopefully I can add some value, right? In just helping you think about this a little bit deeper than truth and lies, or black and white. Truth or not is irrelevant.
So I tell you, there are two sides to the story, and then there's the truth, which we are yet to uncover. Then lastly, no matter what happens, I tell you, marriage is a beautiful thing. But if it's not working out between you and your partner, you people have this option of walking away. You don't have to destroy everything.
She's right about that.
Because I maintain Emeka was...
Except that this one has already been destroyed 10 years ago. But continue, auntie.
Cancelled back then because he said nothing. He was cancelled without anybody.
No, he was cancelled because there are court documents that supports that he couldn't keep his home together, okay? And his finances, yeah.
Hearing him. Am I telling you that there was no abuse? That is not who I am. That is not why I'm here. I'm not the judge, but I'm telling you that these are...
That would be too easy for you to say there's no abuse. That's why you're not saying it. I think that's really what you're trying to say, Auntie. I feel. Okay, I don't have to be correct.
The pointers are picked from this whole thing. Even women.
Remember, if we talk calmly, we can smell it. You're a gender warrior.
Where they sleep, who go through worst things in their homes. Everybody don't buy data. They type, Emeka is an abusive man. This is that. Without even having any evidence, we've all concluded that
Emeka literally went on your View and abused those ladies. You didn't see it? Go and watch your View's interview. Forget his wife and his children first. Go and watch your View's interview. Okay? Dark shades, all of it. If anybody says something stupid, even threatened, everybody collects on that interview. It happened a few days ago. Is that abuse?
Terrible father and then an abusive husband. More wisdom.
Auntie, if you call that wisdom, what you just did right there.
Oh, you're right.
But let me talk to my brothers. Brothers, don't let these people incite you. You don't have the luxury. You don't. But I like you to say the son need to be neutral. He's the first son and need to respect his father. Yeah, he's going to yield to his father. He's going to unfortunately learn from the best. And you said need to. I agree with you. But we have to look at what the reality is. He's lost respect for his father. His father needs to learn how he's going to earn his respect back. Respect is earned in the real world. Gone are those days when people dash respect just because of a position. And it has always been that respect is more sustainable when it is earned. Respect is a function of time. Sustainable respect is a function of time. Mutual respect, just because you're a father, just because like those are nice and cute, and those are a very important part of society. But when there's crisis, you have to manage crisis, and one of the things that goes out the window is respect, and they have to be earned back. And if you have a bad child, they have to be earned back. If this young man can sit down and listen to you, this would be a good message to him. Until then, he's not going to hear this because he has his experience. And it's very dismissive. It will come off as dismissive to just tell him outright, just respect your father. In fact, he already said, this is what he said. He already said now. He released this message. He said, if you're not supporting my mom on this, please block me. The son has earned coconut head from his father. I keep saying that. It starts from the head. The enemy will attack the head. Alright? Now, here's another angle to it. The son is going to be a head. He needs to realize that he has his own life to live. Right? He needs to realize that he cannot hide under the excuse that my father did this for a long time. He's going to collect woto if he keeps that up too. Yeah. A lot of people are saying that he will understand one day. I get it. He will understand one day. But they are also saying that from a standpoint that they are picking sides with Emeka Ike. If you are picking sides with Emeka Ike, you don't know what you're doing and you don't like Emeka Ike. He doesn't need your side. What he needs is to earn his family back. If you give him your side right now, he's not happy still. What he needs is his family back. You can see that he's very angry and he wants his family back ultimately. And if he can get his family back in some kind of order, he'll be a lot more happier than your side, than you picking a side, you know. Emeka Ike's Henrietta said Emeka Ike's ex-wife has been quiet for 10 years until Emeka came out again this month. I know, but it doesn't exonerate her. You know, we don't know what happened. The lady speaking sounded angry, and I reckon it had clouded her judgment. That woman is coming from a very place, a personal place. She's a content creator, but she's coming from a very personal place. And she tried to pretend like she's kind of like in the center Loriro. She is a gender warrior. Respect is earned no matter who you are. That is a fact. That's the reality. We've manipulated for so long. We've also instilled value for so long. I think it's a good value to say respect your father. But when it's falling apart, we have to go back to the root cause. Why is it falling apart? It's because we've depended too much on that respect. So we have to balance out, right? We need the respect you dash your father just because he's a father. I think it's a good thing for society. But when it's falling apart, we can't just judge. We have to go back and see why it is falling apart. You know? Shout out to you, Mo Fresh. We're ending up right now. We're running up right now. 1 minute. The son is an adult now. He saw it all. Yeah, like... it's a lot more deeper than prescribing what is written in the Bible to him, because he probably knows what's written in the Bible, which is respect your father and your mother so that your days can last long. You know, when people get to a space where they say last long, I don't even care, I've given it all up, whatever can happen. You know, when the person is in that space, the last thing they want or they need is somebody to be preaching to them. They need to be heard, including Emeka. Emeka needs to be heard and understood. If he doesn't get that first, before you pick a side, he will smell it, he will sniff it that you're a gender warrior, and he will not trust you, and he will just be angry because whatever you're saying is not working to help him get his family back. Okay? So that's all I have for you on this episode. Let's make this go viral again. Share it. The last one we've done, I've had over 1,500 views, each one of them. So I will keep addressing it because clearly this is a topic that's very close to all of us. So let's keep talking about it. I want to say thank you. Merry Christmas to you. Hopefully you've been enlightened today and appreciated. Henrietta said, I pray, I'm going to leave this on the screen. I pray they both seek peace and attain it for the sake of their children. Amen. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I will see you on the next one. Peace.
Beautiful girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One loving up with a